you're brave.
No human being should be put in solitary confinement, ever.
Hello, got some new music for you today. In this video I'm going to look at how I'm going to use this music to enhance a piece of footage that I've got, and I want to see how I can change the mood of the video for this particular new music that I'm going to show you today. Right, let's get into it. Okay, so here I am in Filmstro Pro. The two new tracks I want to look at today are Disquiet and Morning. But before I get into that, let's actually just bring in the clip we want to add this to. And so I'm bringing in this new demo here, which is 378 meg. I know the message in here says, 100 meg maximum, but I find on my system it works really, really well having something that large. And so as soon as I press play now, we're going to hear the music. We're also going to hear, see the video playback. For now, I've got the video muted. I might change that in a bit, see if there's anything interesting we can tease out, but I'm more likely to do that on the edit page. I just want to get a general overview, a general sense immediately whether or not this piece of music might work for this particular scene. Right, let's try Morning. I've already got a kind of idea. You can see that the video is basically synced to the beginning of each track, so it's kind of a really quick way of getting an idea of how the music's going to complement the picture. At the moment, I probably prefer that one. All right, so let's load this one through then. This is the only bit where it does take a little bit of time. We've got to be patient for the music to load through and stuff. Sorry, I say that. It's only when we click a template. So I'll probably, because I want to build this from scratch, I'm going to select the blank template. So this takes exactly the same amount of time as loading any other of the templates, of course, but we're just going to be patient here, wait for this audio to load through. The video, as you can see here in the background, has persisted, so whatever video you bring into the browse area will then just come through into the edit page. At this point, I might unmute it as well, but I'll check that out in a minute, and I may also turn the music down a bit just to balance that out, but we'll get there in a sec. So first, I'm just going to start. And the first thing, of course, we notice is we've still got this issue with the synchronizing video to music. So the music always starts with silence while the video immediately kicks in. So I'm going to want to just change that a little bit. So I'm just going to move that by 75 frames, see what that does. It's probably a bit too much, so I think probably 50 frames ought to do the trick. So I'll just type that in. Hit return, there we go. So yeah, that's pretty good. Let's unmute that now. Let's just turn the music down as well a little bit now. As often as possible, I'll just try and get, the most realistic balance just from the off, even when I'm creating this kind of thing, because it makes more sense to make artistic decisions based on the kind of overall final output, in my opinion anyway, because you might spend ages finessing this and then find that some of those decisions were basically irrelevant because you couldn't hear half of it or whatever, so let's just go back to the beginning again. Okay, so because this is a bit ominous, I'm going to just bring the music up again just to show you guys and just mute that video. I think I want to dial in the depth a bit more already. So I'm just going to zoom out in the timeline so I can see the whole thing. And then, why did I just do that? I don't need to do that. I'm just going to switch latch mode on, which is pretty much my favorite thing in Filmstro. And I'm going to bring in the depth. Actually, no, I know why I did this. I'm going to just dial the depth in immediately. So I'm just going to highlight the whole lot, bring depth up completely. I'll leave latch on for now, hide those, and straight away let's just see what difference that makes. Nice. Yeah, so straight away that's already got, I mean, the solo cello there has got a really, really particular kind of mood that it encapsulates. There's something unbearably forlorn about the way that was played. And of course, the music itself is in a very minor key, so it's very, very sad. Just going to get the levels right again and just get this opening just so. Love it. Okay, I'm just going to play a little bit, just see what I think.
You're brave.
No human being should be put in solitary confinement, ever. Especially for the amount of time that you've been in there.
Save it. I know you're sorry. We're all sorry.
You could leave here.
Okay, quite happy with that so far. I want to turn that music even further down though and just audition that scene again from there. So I've basically got a tiny bit of momentum changing here. So I'm just going to hit 1 to show the momentum, because, you know, we've had the intro. We know it's a prisoner. He's come into the room. We've seen the second character as well, and now we're obviously ready for some kind of, you know, plot development, obviously. And so I feel like the music should just help that along a little bit. So I've just brought in the momentum as essentially the stage has literally been set, and so now I just want to get a bit of movement to indicate something is about to kick off. And I say kick off in the loosest possible way, because by kick off we're talking about just a dialogue that's about to begin. That Foley is rather loud in that video. That's something I'll probably fix in an NLE later. It's not something we have control over in Filmstro as yet.
You're brave.
No human being should be put in solitary confinement, ever. Especially for the amount of time that you've been in there.
Save it. I know you're sorry. We're all sorry.
You could leave here. You were a child.
I think that part where she says about the child, I just want to bleed in some more depth again.
You were a child. He rolled you up into the carpet while he molested your sister.
Don't do that.
It's good to talk about it. It's how you fix it.
I did fix it. I don't appreciate how you're looking at me.
Son, you clean up that house and you clean up that yard real good. I'll bring you back some cupcakes. That sound like a deal?
So we've got into the really the meaty stuff now in terms of the emotional content, and it is super dark. I appreciate that. So I'm bringing in the power here.
Son, you clean up that house and you clean up that yard real good.
And it brings in some extra melody information, which to me, it just sort of helps delineate the difference in not pace particularly in terms of the scene, but there is definitely a distinct change. So she's, you know, he's talking about the here and now, don't look at me like that, and then she's about to read something which is basically the, you know, his history, and bringing in these other instruments, just for me, actually really nicely just sets up the fact that, yeah, we're looking back. There's a kind of story element, right? Because the music is literally giving you something to hang on to, rather than just having this kind of empty space as an in-between. And that works, I think, really well with the kind of narrative or biographical kind of part.
Son, you clean up that house and you clean up that yard real good.
Yeah, I like that. And I also like how this drops off here.
You could leave here.
The momentum just stops. So all these little details float away as he laughs.
You were a child.
And that is a really nice empty space where we just have this, you know, this moment where she's basically recasting this huge guy, and making him seem vulnerable, basically. And I find the music for that to drop away completely makes a lot of sense as well. I am doing this on the fly. I mean, obviously you guys probably know that I don't script stuff, but I also didn't want to prepare for this video. It's obviously a bit longer, a bit flabby, but I felt it was important for you guys to just see how I would genuinely go about this, or how you might go about it. Well, let's just do this last little bit.
That house and you clean up that yard real good. I'll bring you back some cupcakes. That sound like a deal? But he lied to you.
I cleaned that house. You could eat off the floor. In the yard, there wasn't a weed. There wasn't a dead leaf. There wasn't a blade of grass that's taller than his military-grade flat top.
So I like that there. Again, there's a shift between characters. So basically the power here is when she's talking, and it comes down.
That house and you clean up that yard.
When they shift.
I'll bring you back some cupcakes. That sound like a deal?
You can eat off the floor.
So again, we've got a kind of like an in-between, a neutral space where the narrative baton is handed over from one character to the other, and then at that point, I pick up the momentum, because I feel like, again, that just happens to work well with the fact that he's kind of getting into his stride, right? Like, again, there's always, for me, there's a really natural, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm doing it with my hands, some kind of melding, some kind of, actual parallel linkage between what we see and what we expect to hear, so that emotionally we connect with it. So, and that is sometimes incredibly subtle, but at this point here, going from this neutral space,
in the yard,
he's starting to talk.
There wasn't a weed. There wasn't a dead leaf. There wasn't a blade of grass that's taller.
And he even starts with a list. So it's kind of like, I like the idea that as his list develops, literally item 1, comma, item 2, item 3, etc., the music then also kind of just starts going, okay, yes, I will get larger as your list develops, etc. And we kind of join him on this narrative flow. And flow, again, of course, for me, there's a completely concrete and one-to-one link between music flowing more than as well. I think I'm happy with that. But yeah, for now, I hope that's been useful, and happy editing.